What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Banner Saga. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while and check out this gorgeous, wonderful game. Such a fortunate season for us here as indie game players. So many good games coming out between Gungeon, between Hyperlight Drifter, Banner Saga 2. It's just like, this is the season for fantastic indie games, and I'm really, really happy to be in a position where I get to present that to you. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I get to do it. So anyways, welcome on back. In the previous episode, we had picked up where we left off in the first game. I've been doing my best to get back up to speed. I had told myself that I was going to play the first game through again before I did this, but unfortunately, with all the pushbacks and just the chaos of the release season, things happened. So we need to decide what we're going to do with supplies. I think I'm going to be unselfish for right now, and I think I'm probably going to go with some lighter stuff. I think I'm going to spend on supplies, and then we got a little bit of renown left, and I think it would probably be fairly smart to go through and spend it on things that are going to be useful. So let's start. I'm going to go with the Svalin Dust. After looking at it for a while, the +2 armor breakage is good. It's really, really good. The other one that I was kind of leaning towards if I was trying to spend less money was the Jarl's Seal, whereas the +1 will does not seem that good. I remember being able to regenerate will was like a really big deal because it allowed you to stack the dice in your favor if you really, really needed to. There are no dodges or anything like this, or anything like that in this game unless you've got special equipment, and so hits are hits and sunders are sunders, and you really want to make sure you're doing. But I think the Svalin Dust is what I'm going to start with, so we'll buy that for 6 renown, and that's very, very expensive. The amount of renown we spent on supplies was basically everything we spent on that right there. I'm going to confirm it, and so we have 5 renown remaining. We bought all the supplies we could. That's 12 days worth. Morale's looking pretty solid right now. I think it's time to get on the road again, yeah? Let's travel. You walk the planks of the well-used dock, and they creak as you move across them. Hakon, a warrior recently acknowledged as king of the Varl, paces on the dock. Not sure why I was made for this, he says as you approach. Commanding a battle is one thing, but deciding how many chickens we need to bring? Well, you seem to be handling it okay. I think that leadership is a skill just as an out-of-character type. No, leadership is a skill you learn. It's not something you're, like, born with. I think some people have a natural intuition towards making the right choices and keeping the peace between people. But at the end of the day, you live and you learn by managing groups of people. And, you know, I've never met a guy who's 50 years old who's been managing his entire career who was way worse at it than a guy who just started managing people in his 20s. I mean, obviously, you'll have your savants every now and again that are just really, really good at it. But it is a thing that you learn to do with time. It's a thing you lock in on, and he's probably just a little bit... Probably he's got a little bit of case of cold feet about it, but he'll be alright. You seem to be handling it just fine. I'm not looking for praise, Hakon says. I just want to know what we're expecting when this is all over. There's so few Varl left. How do I keep my people alive? You search for something to say, but he stops you. I'm not looking for an answer from you either. It's something a Varl king should be able to figure out. Let's sail. After lighting the funeral pyre, the last villagers find seats on your rickety longships built of scrap wood scavenged in Borsgard. The ravens find space around a large cart on the black-sailed vessel, or slowly move all the boats into the river's current. At least we got transportation now, that's a plus. We aren't hoofing it anymore. And so as you see, the wheel fills on up as we travel, and every time it comes around, we're going to lose some of our supplies. And really, the big choice you're going to make in this game a lot of the time is, do you want to keep your people alive, or do you want to keep your soldiers alive? That's one of the big things you're going to be at war with the entire game. Leo looks ill. At least it's not the brackish sea, he whispers to himself as he steps around the rowers and baggage to speak with you. I'm not sure we were all built for aquatic voyages, he says, and I hear Arberrang is quite a distance away. My people could use a few hours to rest on solid ground. The hopeful looks from others sway you, and you signal for the ships to make land. Would you mind telling me why the capital is our destination? Leo asks. Well, the Valka Juno says that the Menders there can protect us. Menders? The Scald's shoulders slump. We were all hoping for something more substantial, I guess? He realizes Avon and Juno can hear him. I thank you for healing my people, but we're talking about an army of dredge. The Valka and her apprentice share a smile, but say nothing. Dredge, Leo says almost in awe. Man and Varl's storied foe from oh so ever long ago. But they're real and they're here. How've they made it so far south? His glance at the Varl is met with both anger and shame. The long ship rocks gently and the Skald grabs a rope to steady himself. If only we had the fabled horses to ride upon, we'd outpace the dredge and be on sound footing. His dramatized misery is almost as amusing as his thanks when he steps back onto land. Morale is improved because we took a day off. Everybody needs a day off every now and again. I'm not particularly good at this. My mom is always mad at me about it. This is the map of the world. You can explore by dragging the mouse to pan and using the mouse wheel to zoom. The location of your caravan is indicated here by Rook's icon. The caravan recently embarked from Leo's village and is traveling westward down the Ormza River. Prior to arriving at Leo's village, the caravan had hurriedly embarked from Borsgard in the wake of the devastating siege laid by Bellower and his armies. Click on Borsgard to find out more about it. An aging and senile mess of a city that can't remember whether it wants to sell you something or steal everything you've got. While Ormsdalr grew early into an important hub of trade, its twin city Borsgard became the place to buy things nobody else was willing to hawk. It's greatly supported by the potent items harvested in Rennivik and Tistel, and plagued by huge disparities between the extremely rich and suffering poor. Yeah, well, join the crowd of places. The caravan is attempting to reach Ormsdalr by river on the way to Arberrang. Click on Ormsdalr to find out more about it. Where is Arberrang, though? Arberrang is all the way over there, so I don't have any scale or anything like that. Every good map should have scale on it, by the way. If you're ever a map maker, you should have scale. Even if it's done in paces or hours traveled, you should have some kind of scale so that people know what they're looking for. Otherwise, a map is useless. It's just like a collection of... It's a collection of trail markers, essentially. As Strom led some of the first men east, Ormsdalr was one of the most important places they settled, nestled in the crook where Orm's River splits. If Borsgard and Ormsdalr were twins, Ormsdalr would be the righteous brother trying to keep his evil twin from hurting everybody else. Must be a real big crook if we can rest inside of him. Let me guess. Click on Arberrang. Reaching Arberrang, the human capital, is the ultimate goal of the caravan. It is hoped that the walls of the ancient city will provide safety against the deepening catastrophe. From humble beginnings to the eventual seat of power for the king, Arberrang is the most populated and contested city throughout the human lands. Its towering obsidian walls have been pulled from the depths by weaver power of the Menders, and as each new generation of residents builds another ring of walls, the city continues to grow larger and more indulgent and more dangerous. The world map is covered with many locations and holds a lot of lore. You can explore the map at any time by clicking on locations for more information. From the north side of the Wormscale Mountains, one can see a series of mountain peaks that are almost perfectly spaced and of identical height, laid out in a straight line. As the story goes, the Loom Mother herself raised these peaks while teaching mankind how to thread a loom. Okay. When you are finished researching the world map, click this button to travel or camp. So we'll jump on out of here, because there are other things to be done today. Return to the map at any time by pressing that button. As you travel through the world, time will pass. The number of days passed is shown here. Each time a full day passes, your supplies will be consumed. Morale will drop during continuous travel and when supplies run low. In order to raise morale, you must camp and allow your caravan to rest. The number of days worth of remaining supplies are shown here. If the caravan has insufficient supplies, people will begin to starve and morale will drop. And starve, they do very, very quickly. In order to maintain morale and heal injuries, you must rest in camp. Furthermore, camping provides you with opportunities to increase your battle prowess and converse with your heroes. Click now to camp. You want the conversations too. They unlock all kinds of events and like random good things that are happening. Oh, I remember this guy being a badass. I remember this guy being dope in the previous game. He had like a spear and he was always just like, whatcha? Just like taking out dredge. That was my impression of guys that take out dredge efficiently. Like, whatcha? That's the noise they make. When a day passes in camp, your caravan consumes a day's worth of supplies. Morale increases. Click to rest now. And it actually goes like 24 hours. It doesn't just go till the end of the day, so you can't really exploit that to go from like there to there and then get the bonus. You actually got to go all the way around the horn. Anytime you can visit the hero's tent to inspect and promote, that's a good thing because we need to do this badly. My assumption is that we got a lot of leveling up to do. Oh, dude, they're only level 5? I think our guys were way higher level in the first game. I'm thinking that it's possible. Oof. I remember who my team was from the previous game. I think I ran... You can click on them. Yeah, we can do that. I think I ran Rook, Ivor. I had Hakon. So he's got Sundering Impact. The War Master hits even harder than the average warrior with no chance to miss. He can wreak havoc with additional strength and also adds 1 break damage to the target, plus bonuses to heavy impact. Sundering Impact is best used when carefully positioned to impact as many enemies around the target as possible in a single strike. Yeah, I think it assigned all our points for us. What I would have preferred here... The war leader uses experience in battle to issue commands to allies. So we have two options. Yeah, there it is. Tempest is the one that I remember. The Warhawk uses his massive weight to sweep his weapon around himself, hitting multiple adjacent targets, friend or foe, for normal strength damage. Tempest triggers the Warhawk's passive ability, Heavy Impact, which in turn can cause a chain reaction of destruction if used in close quarters. Keeping the Warhawk out of harm's way until late in the fight will maximize his effectiveness. Yeah, so basically what you want to do, you want to sunder their armor off, and then you send him in to Tempest everything to death, and it works pretty well. You need 13 renown to promote this unit. Oh, okay, so we don't have enough. Yeah, what I was hoping they would do is they would start them basically unleveled up so you could go through and you could apply all of the points from the previous game. Just so, I think we're starting at a lower level right now. I'm almost positive we're starting at a lower level. I would have liked it a little bit more, but that's a minor complaint, I guess. I guess they had to make caveats in one way or another. They have to kill stuff in order to get leveled up, by the way. Maybe we are higher level. I remember, I don't know. I have to go back and watch my own series to figure it out. We ain't promoting anybody right now. Overcome with grief from the death of his daughter. Okay, so that's just going to be that. On the way back, though, what we could do... So we have a couple people who are ready for promotions. I think I'm going to run... What does Oddleif do? Oddleif looks like she actually does okay. So I'll probably bring her along. Got Hack on. And then as I recall, I played around with Gunnulf. This is going to be a game where you're going to rotate your party a lot, though, too. So be ready for that. I can't remember. We had somebody who was like a shield warrior, as I recall. There was somebody who was like the dude when it came to wielding a shield. Like he was like indestructible. Maybe it was Gris. One of these guys was a shield wall, and I liked him a lot. Yeah, I think it was Gris, maybe. So who do we have that can break armor? We got 3 out of 3 right there. She can only break 1. He can break 2 or 3. They've definitely built their characters differently than I built them, that's for sure. And so there's going to be definite holes in our strategy here. Really wishing I had my old save file right about now. We need somebody who's good at breaking armor. I think it was Mogier that we ran last time. And they tend to do a pretty good job at giving you people that basically do the same job as other people along the way. And then I ran Hogan and Mogan for a while because they have an ability that allows them, I don't know, they do this nunchuck thing with their axes, and it allows them to kick much asses. Can I not equip his thingamadoobie? There we go. So for you, I need somebody, what did it start us with? So we've got a Let's Bracelet. The Barkin Rune, I remember that one. The Lightning Runestone, a small stone with a curious carving that conjures images of furious lightning storms. So that's for tanks, and it has a 10% chance to deal double damage, which is pretty dope. The Horse Score, which is made from, okay, so dodge strength attacks and move. Got the Svalin Dust, which is the armor breakage. And actually, it looks like they started us with some pretty good stuff. Tortoise Band gives you armor on rest. Fabled Armorers, it gives you 1 armor per turn. And then we've got Dunder's Hand, which gives you 3 strength. Straight from the heart of Dunder Mifflin and Scranton, we've got Dunder's Hand. Alright, sir. So for you, I want you... That's going to increase his armor, make him tankier. Let's go with that right there. That looks pretty good to me. And that should bump him up to doing quite a bit more damage, allowing him to hurt things a little bit more effectively. I want to get this organized now because I'll forget if I don't. So that gives her a chance to dodge, armor on rest, armor plus 1 armor per turn. I'll probably leave that alone for right now. For Rook, we'll probably go in on that right there. That gives him armor, strength, and willpower. Seems good enough to me. I forget what this stat does. Exertion is the amount of willpower. That's what it was. It's the amount that you can use on, like, anything. What are these right here? I don't recall being able to click on these previously. That might be new, where you can actually specialize your stats. That'll be cool. I mean, that's the upshot to being underleveled and our characters not being as good as they were as we had them in the previous game, is that on the plus side, it will allow us to reallocate things and play around with the new mechanics freshly. For her, I'll probably leave her alone for right now. Hakon is another character who would probably benefit from... let's not give him that. Let's bring the strength attacks down. With Mogir, we probably want him to have that right there because it gives him aggro. Either that or we want him to have dodge. I don't really know. And then as far as that goes, we'll go back. We got one more person that needs to be added. I think Eric. I don't remember Eric very well. I don't remember what he did. I remember Avon being pretty decent. He's an apprentice wizard, in case you were wondering. I remember Avon being alright, and then I don't think we actually have the ability to use his master. But yeah, let's take Avon, actually. I like Avon. Avon, I remember him being pretty sweet. I'm going to give him a little bit more speed to move around. Some armor might be nice, too. And since I don't have her equipped with anything, let's just give her the armor mod right now instead. And so there it is. All nice and done and taken care of. So now that we're back out here, it looks like we have conversations we're going to need to be having. This is a slow-paced game, and I'm not going to rush it. So I know that's going to upset people, but we're going to take our time. We're going to try and do things as carefully as possible. I'm trying to redeem myself in the strategy realm right now. A strangely familiar man with a spear and tattoos beckons to you. His movements are somewhat odd and almost comical. You wouldn't be confused by Trygvi's presence if you'd supported this journey long ago. Wait, what? The man's eyes glaze over for a moment before clearing. He now acts like your old friends. I've lost it. Lost what? My desire to keep going, the same as you. I understand, but we have to keep moving. Ah, you don't really mean that, but you did once. And you will again, unless you go down with your ship, Captain. Trygvi starts laughing. It's disturbing, and as you walk away, you hear him singing. Yellow and blue will lie to you. Lie to you, lie to you. Let's leave camp. Shouted orders turn several ships towards the bank. You have no choice but to call all the vessels to halt as well. By the time you land, a crowd is gathered by the water. A man in fine clothes and missing a hand stands at the center of the others. He smirks as you approach. And here he is, the famed self-proclaimed ruler of us all. Are you the reason for this delay? I don't answer questions from backwater scum, no matter how high they've arisen the pond. Okay, then I'll stop asking. Get back on the boats. You don't know who you're talking to, do you? I don't know, but it looks like you tripped and fell on a tattoo gun about 100,000 times. Can't be that bright. Oh, Rook, you might not remember when we first arrived in Borsgard, but I went with Bolverk to speak with the governor. And what's your point? Well, this is Rugga, the governor. Ludin, the entitled Prince of Arberrang, who joined you in Einertoft, steps forward from the gathering crowd. The former governor of what was Borsgard, actually. He's the king's son. He joined up with us pretty early in the previous game. He's well-intentioned, as I recall. He's not a coward. He's brave, but he's pompous, and so that's what you've got to deal with when you bring Ludin along. He's kingly, but he's also a tad arrogant. Careful, Prince. Rivers are dangerous, especially this far from your papa's side. The threat causes a few gasps from the clansmen. Ludin's bodyguard, the usually quiet Varl Bersi, growls but is waved off by the young prince. The Mender and I were just discussing Rook's banner. It'll make a nice addition to Borsgard's. Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen. These aren't the rules of the woods anymore, Rook. You're among men now. Try to act like one. If anything, Rook's banner would join Arberrang's, or are you claiming control of the entire kingdom, too? I'm just trying to guide my vulnerable prince home with some dignity and proper leadership. But it was Rook who led the fight against Bellower while you hid in your great hall, Governor. Overseeing a besieged town isn't hiding, Mender. Just as fighting in a battle isn't necessarily leading. But Rook kept us alive across the frozen wastes he did, cries a man. Saved us at Einertoft, too, a woman adds. Others join in listing your deeds and cheering your name. Then it's settled. No more delays. Rook is now our official guide to Arberrang, but will consult with me on major decisions. Everybody just get back on the boats. Indeed, return to the ships. The helmeted guard next to Rugga makes a gesture for only the governor to see. Rugga laughs as the crowd disperses. Prince, your guide has a lot to learn before Arberrang. I get the feeling we're probably going to be seeing him a lot more on the way to Arberrang. Or at least his representatives. Morale has declined, but it's still great. I don't know if I'll focus too heavily on morale. I mean, we are basically in a death march. Ahead, driftwood is collected, creating an impressive barrier for the longships. Alternatively, going ashore has its own risks from whatever might be lurking in the trees. And we can carry the ships, we can row harder, we can bank the ships and set all the axemen to the chopping. Yeah, let's set axemen to chopping. Once on land, you, Ivor, and everybody else with an axe start hacking away at the wood blockage. Thudding sounds fill the air, and moments later, Rugga says, Damn! We've got company. As dredge approach from the woods, you realize others will have to hold them off until you've cleared the driftwood. You are about to enter a battle. If you find the battles too challenging or difficult, or if you find yourself needing a tougher challenge, you may modify the difficulty settings. Don't worry, you can change the difficulty of the battles at any time before a battle begins. And so there it is right there. You can go in on to difficulty. And there are some tough battles. Actually, the final boss fight of the first game was one of those ones that I always remember as being one of the hardest battles I've ever done on my channel. Just because of the way I built my characters, unfortunately, we weren't prepared for the final fight, and it was ugly. Alright, units move in the order that you place them from left to right. This means that the initiative order is very important when setting up strategies. For example, put archers after melee units so that they can stay safe behind your heavy hitters. Alright, so you need to go to the... Let's drag everybody out for right now. We're going to bring Mogr. Krumir, I believe, is an armor breaker with his hammer. We'll bring Krumir. We'll bring Trygvi. We will bring a Leo. What does a Leo do? He's got a harp. He's a skald. Yeah, let's bring a Leo just to see what he does here. I'd like to bring extra people. We'll bring an archer. Actually, no, bring Luden. I would like Luden to play a larger part in what we're trying to accomplish here. And then we'll bring Avend as well. The band has been unequipped. So my suggestion would be... What was this right here? 1 armor per turn. Yeah, go ahead and put that on. It looks like I can't take Rook's stuff off. So unfortunately, he will not be nude while chopping wood. Alright, so there we go. Gunnulf is pretty good too. He's a warhawk just like, so if you need somebody to replace, what's his name, the King of the Varl, he's also a pretty decent choice. In case you were wondering, they basically have the same movesets, if I remember right. During deployment, you can place your units anywhere in the blue tile areas. I will probably scoot him on back. Let's give them all a little scoochy-doo here. We are going to clash on one side, so we've got 2 spearmen. We probably want... Let's form up a little bit. And we are going to kind of wait and see what they all decide they want to do. Good caravan morale gives you a +1 willpower bonus in battle. Maintain sufficient supplies and rest in camp to get that. Okay. Unit's willpower is modified by a caravan and displayed here. We've got 5 out of 4. Good. Well, I will more than likely... What does Bring the Pain do? Breaks an enemy's armor and punishes enemies for retaliating. I will more than likely... Can we see their movement range? I was going to say, I would like to see their movement range. I will probably drag him over to here real fast. Along this side, we can't really... I mean, we can try and choke him in right here. But either way, these big greatsword guys are a bit of a worry. This is actually pretty good for a first battle. I mean, we've got them outnumbered, but... This might be rough. I think I may just leave him. He's got forge ahead. Select an ally to move forward in the initiative. That's not too bad. They got that right there. They got that right there. This guy's going to be a problem for us, so we need to set up to solve him, I think. How far can he move? Let's just wait. Get that debris cleared. Hurry. Oh, yeah, we can break debris now. I forgot about that. I think I would actually rather fight around it, though, and use choke points. I'm a bit turtly when I play games like this, so you'll have to forgive me. He's got Impale. Causes knockback, and the target bleeds when moving. Okay. And if he kills anything, everybody gains willpower. That's not too bad. Let's hang tight for now and wait and see what they do. I can move him forward to there, and then allow him to close the gap. His armor breakage is not so good, though. And he's not going to be able to hurt that thing very much until we break some armor off. So, I may have him swing out this way to help this guy. Meanwhile... I'm going to move her to there. She's got Rain of Arrows, which as I recall is actually pretty good. It was one of the reasons I started leveling her. Yeah, target a tile and stun an enemy who steps inside of it with a Rain of Arrows. It's really, really good for blocking off people that are trying to run up on you. And that's going to take willpower. Well, we've got bonus, so let's do it. And so up it goes. We've set a little booby trap right there. If anybody tries to move into our area, they are going to find out. Now, what does he do? He's got Arc Lightning, strength damage that arcs to all diagonal targets, and then he's got Mend as well, which restores an ally's armor. That could be very, very useful, too. Let's go ahead and move out and over to this side. Try to keep him at least somewhat centralized with the rest of the group so I can move him around as necessary. What's the range looking like on his Arc Lightning? Okay, so it goes out pretty far. It's not too bad at all. Alright, so he can get to there if he needs to. One armor and 2 armor. It's going to take them a while to break his armor, so part of me thinks it might be wise. Let's put him in. We don't have a tax of opportunity or anything like that. And I think what we want to do is we want to do Bring the Pain, which is going to make it so that if anybody hits him, I think they take damage. And then, yeah, I'll probably willpower that one too. It's good to start off strong in this game. It's not a bad plan. So there's one armor sundered right there. And you see that right there? It dealt a bunch of damage back to him because they hit my tank. And so that was exactly the plan that I was going for. I don't know if I want to split up. See, here's the problem. If I go around this way, they're going to be able to cut me down the middle, and I don't want that at all. I don't want that for a second. And so what I may do is, how far can he move? I may move him to here, I think. Can you attack diagonals in this game? I can't remember. I can't remember if you can attack diagonals, but I'm just going to be safe rather than sorry. I'm going to put him right there. We're going to try and get archers. Huge liability in this game. You really want to get rid of archers if you can help it. Now Trigvi. I may try to set him up right there to bait them into the arrow trap, possibly. Trigvi, swing wide a little bit. Okay, so that means we're going to have to move out of the way of there. That's called a Shatterstone, and it's a bit of a problem. I don't think there's attacks of opportunity, though, so we might not have to worry about it. Let's maybe... I love how there's little guys down here working on the blockage, although where's Rook? You got to have Rook in there somewhere. Luden was meant to help on this side, and so I don't feel too guilty about applying him to that cause. I don't know how big those explode. We don't have like an AoE marker or anything, and so I'm a tad worried about it. Can she use her ability twice in a row? Oh, she can. It lasts till the next turn. Okay. If I move to there, I can fire a shot at him, but she's going to negate his damage due to the armor, so all we could really accomplish... Yeah, let's move around a little bit. Well, I mean, I would like to attack him, but we'll go ahead and we'll start working on that armor right there. So there's a little bit more armor sundered off. What we would want to do now is we would want to bring our mender over here. We're going to want to babysit him very, very carefully. And so, what does this cost him? I don't recall what this costs him. I think it just costs willpower. So his armor is now back, so we don't have to worry about him going down or anything like that. This fight over here is going to be very, very risky. Unfortunately, I may need to pull him back from these Sunderstones. Leaves me in a bit of an awkward situation. Whose turn is that? It's his turn? Shit. They've kind of got me pinned right now. Is there another Sunderstone behind him, or did he only throw out the one? I think he only threw out the one. He might have thrown two, though. So basically what I'm worried about is I can move him out of the range of the stone, but then that leaves my archer wide open. I think it's going to be something that I have to do, though. I don't think I'm going to have much of a choice. So there's a little bit of armor off. He's going to retaliate slightly. My suggestion here would be to bring them up, but I think we're out of time for the day. My name is Splattercat. I will see you all later. Thank you for joining me at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of the Banner Saga. Hi to everybody.